it's hard to play with LeBron just in general. It's just a hard play. It's just a hard play.
Did Keyshawn just say it's hard to play with LeBron? Well, you know who else they say? You know who else they say that about?
Who?
Luka Dončić.
What's going on? It's Keyshawn, and welcome to my show, All Facts and No Breaks. Presented by Oikos, stronger makes everything better. Remember to subscribe on YouTube, follow us on social media, or wherever you get your podcast. Joining us later is Fox Sports NBA analyst Ric Bucher and Chicago Bears, get this, All-Pro from a year ago, Jaylen Johnson, which carries over to All-Pro this year, although he didn't make the team. But before we get to talk about those guys, let's just talk some NFL with my son, Keyshawn Jr.
What's up? You know, it's February, Black History Month. Shout out us.
Shout out us, yeah, Black History Month.
So you're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you hear that? Black History Month.
Yeah, Black History Month. So you're going to the Super Bowl tomorrow. You got any plans when you get there?
Work. All plans at work, no play. That's what I'm going to be doing.
You're not going to get some beignets or anything? Come on.
Why would I want fried dough with powdered sugar?
That's fire.
Yeah, I don't
beignets
like that.
Fire.
But I'm gonna eat some oysters and some charbroiled oysters and some red beans and rice with andouille sausage.
Catfish.
Maybe not catfish. Because I want to try to stay away from the fried stuff in Louisiana. Because really, that's really what it's about. But I want to try to stay away from it.
So you're not going to the game?
No, I'm not going to the game. I'll be back in Los Angeles for the game.
Super Bowl, the opening was last night. It was a big press day. Jameis Winston was there doing coverage for Fox Sports, which is pretty funny. Let's take a look at it.
I want you to do this for me, bro. I want you to eat a W, all right? Hey, that's why you play quarterback. Do you mind if I try an Australian accent?
I'd love you to, bro.
Okay, this is from the Crocodile Hunter. Jordan, there's no moment brighter than this moment. Devonta, we know we here for the Super Bowl, baby. We know you born right down the street. There's so many stakes on this game, man, and I know you're ready for it. I can look it in your eyes. But the question that we all want to know is, what's your favorite color?
Pink.
One more question, Saquon. One more question. In this free agency, man, I'm a free agent. I really don't got no job. Who should sign me in free agency?
I think New York need a quarterback right now.
New York? Who?
The Giants.
Okay, brother.
Yeah,
thank you.
I'll
give him a call.
Yeah.
It's Jameis being Jameis. Now, do you agree with the Giants? Could call him and maybe he could be a quarterback, or you think Saquon was just trying to be funny?
No, not just the Giants. There's several teams that could utilize his services in a short period of time. I mean, it doesn't. The Raiders will need one. The Giants will need one. Yeah, but that don't mean you don't need a veteran in the room.
Yeah.
So he'll have a job next year for sure. No problem at all.
Did they have these type of opening nights when you were in the Super Bowl?
We didn't have an opening night. We had media day, but I feel like media day was about the third day of the week of the Super Bowl. So it was more on Wednesday than when we touched down on Monday. Every single day before we went to practice, we had media sessions where the media would come into one of our conference rooms and we would have a little bit of a chat about the Super Bowl, whatever. But then the big media day was, I believe it was on Wednesday.
Did you like that type of stuff? Because
I didn't even.
Players like Marshawn Lynch that.
Man, I didn't even pay attention.
Be there so they don't get fined.
No, I was cool, but I really didn't. It was whatever. You know, it was just whatever. A lot of people relished the moment or whatnot. I think I was so locked in, focused in on trying to get to the game that I really didn't have time to even be able to enjoy the moment of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right, well, moving on to some trades. Former Defensive Player of the Year and current finalist Myles Garrett requested a trade from the Browns. Do you blame him for wanting to go out of Cleveland?
No, not at all. You've been
he said
there.
He wants to be a Super Bowl champion.
You've been there 8-9 years. You done gave him everything.
Yeah.
You done gave him all. You done gave him defensive player, sack leader, all of this. You keep going to 3-14. Yeah, you made the playoffs in a wild card last year, got beat, sent home. Players like this is at the point in their careers where you want to try to chase a championship.
Yeah, he's 6-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler.
You're not going to chase it in Cleveland. So you might as well look to go somewhere else.
So who do you think would be a good fit? I've heard Bills, I've heard Commanders, I've heard Falcons.
Everybody.
Yeah, literally.
'Cause he's a plug-and-play guy.
type of guy, exactly.
So any team, I'd like to see him actually with the New York Jets and Aaron Glenn. That's what I would like to see.
Okay, so, but who do you think will get him?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. Well, apparently the Eagles have good odds to land him, but moving on to Cooper Kupp, he also later that day got notified that he would be traded. Do you think that he was surprised by this, and are you surprised by this?
I don't think he was surprised by it. He had the rumblings went on this past season, that he could be moved. They didn't move him. He came back healthy, played. He did what he could do, but he hasn't been the same player that he was since the Triple Crown, since the Super Bowl. I mean, that's when he was at his best. Since then, he's missed a number of games. He got a high salary, and they can get the same thing out of Puka. It's a system that allows them to play a certain way, and I think they feel like they can get anybody to do those same things at that position for less money. So that's probably what they're going to do. But I'm glad that Les Snead and Sean McVay made a decision to let him know early that your ass is out of here and we're trading you. So him and his family can now digest that and not play games with him, whether or not he's going to be traded in April and they're lying and doing all. Just straight up, hey, man, we're going to move you. And that's it. And now everybody happy.
When you got traded, was it like a surprise or you?
No, I knew I was getting traded. They had already told me.
Okay.
They told me. They said, we don't want to pay you because we don't want to set a precedent with 2 years left on the contract.
Okay.
We have an opportunity to move you so you can go win a championship and get your money. Here are the list of teams that we want to try to strike a deal with. Let us know which one of these listed teams you prefer your destination.
And this was the Jets you're talking about.
This was when I was with the Jets.
Okay.
Same thing when I was with Tampa Bay. I knew I was going to be traded once the offseason came because Bruce Allen, because Rich McKay told me. He says, we're going to move you when the season's over. Okay, cool. Deuces.
Okay, so what do you think's the best fit for Cooper Kupp? Because you're saying pretty much he's not really a wide receiver one anymore.
Chicago would be good. He could fall into that St. Brown, Amon-Ra, or Amon-Ra St. Brown role with Ben Johnson. I think the New England Patriots and Josh McDaniels, he slides into that Julian Edelman kind of role in the slot up in New England with Josh McDaniels, Jacoby Myers role in New England. Those are the two teams that stand out for me.
What about the Commanders and Jaden Daniels?
That could be,
Looks
but
like
I don't.
They need another receiver.
But I don't know that they need an inside guy as much as they do a vertical threat.
Really? Well, yeah, they got some small guys. But speaking of trades, a blockbuster trade happened over the weekend. Let's bring in Fox Sports NBA analyst Ric Bucher to help us break it down.
What's happening, Rick?
Rick, welcome back.
Good to be with the Johnsons once again here on the podcast.
Well, I'm extremely excited about the news that came down over the weekend with Anthony Davis and Luka. Davis going to Dallas, Luka coming to LA. Crazy. What did you make of that?
You were excited? You were excited about that? What?
You don't think excited, it's a good trade for the Lakers?
I'm excited.
I think it's a great trade for the future. Yeah. I think that they found their future superstar, what you need if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, that bell cow. But it without question is a step back as far as what they're going to do this season. And the timing shocked me, quite honestly, because I think they were 28. They're 28-19, and they just beaten the Knicks in Madison Square Garden decisively without Anthony Davis. Mm-hmm. A game, putting them like a game out of the 4th seed. And look, I don't believe, I haven't believed that the Lakers are title contenders. I didn't believe it last year, and I didn't think so this year. But like, they started to make me wonder, okay, can they make at least a little bit of noise? Like they could be, maybe not win a title, but could they go to the conference finals? Who knows? It's wide open. And then you trade Anthony Davis for, your next superstar. And I'm essentially like, oh, okay. I guess Rob Pelinka and the Lakers were thinking, we look good right now, but there's no way we're getting this done. And we have the opportunity to go get the guy that we can build around going forward after LeBron hangs it up. Let's go do that. And we'll trade the piece that we need to, even if it means that we're not going to be as good in the short term.
It's interesting because ever since this has come down, right? This whole deal. It's interesting because I was with two former Lakers on Saturday night. I was with Byron Scott and Derek Fisher, both former players, champions, both coaches. And they asked me what I thought, and we were having a conversation. And I've just been thinking about it over the days. And I'll ask you this, Rick. What's the difference between LeBron James and Kyrie Irving?
What?
What's the difference between
you
those
mean
two?
As far as a partner with
Luka.
Oh, okay.
I would say that the number one thing is that Kyrie has a very defined role. He's a scorer. He's the guy that is your go-to clutch guy. He can create for others, but he's just a tremendously talented soloist.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as we see the numbers that Luka puts up or that LeBron puts up, LeBron is not, and this sounds funny because he's the all-time leading scorer in NBA history, but he's not a pure scorer. Like, he doesn't have a scorer's mindset per se. It's just he's been around for so long, and he's talented enough, and he's played enough games, and he plays enough minutes, and he has the ball enough that he puts up numbers. But he's really, at the heart, he's an orchestrator. And I would say the exact same thing for Luka. Luka can score, but what he really is, his strength, is he's an orchestrator. If you're going to get the most out of him, or you're going to get the most out of LeBron, it's you let them be the orchestra leader. Kyrie's really not that. And he demonstrated that when he was in Cleveland before LeBron got there, and when he went to Boston and they handed him that role. It's really not who he is. Who he is he's just kind of that pure assassin type. He can go get you buckets when it needs it. He's going to do it in a lot of different creative ways. And so for me, that's why, and I had my doubts, probably expressed them to you at some point, about the Kyrie and Luka combination working. But they found a way, and they found a way in large part because of the changes that didn't happen right away, but they made some changes to the roster and figured out how they could utilize both of them. And they made it work well enough to go to the NBA Finals.
And the reason
I just don't see at this point, you're giving me Luka, and you're giving me an older version of Luka. And then maybe most important, it's not even just alone with them, it's everything else that is not on that team. Like for the Luka Kyrie combination to work, you have to go get a PJ Washington, a Daniel Gafford, and you had to draft a Derek Lively. You had to Derek Lively. You had to pick Derek Jones Jr. off the scrap heap. Like, you had to have all of these like role players that were really great defensive players, and yet were high IQ enough to play off of Luka and Kyrie and fit in and around them. That's what the Lakers don't have. This is the Luka LeBron show. You don't defensively, they like Anthony Davis was carrying a lot of water. So I know why you asked the question, Key, because you're like, well, you thought Kyrie and Luka was all that, and they went to the finals. Why are you telling me that Luka and LeBron can't go to the finals?
I asked the question because when I look at, and it's fascinating to me because you say score, I say he can get a bucket. LeBron get a bucket anytime he wants to. We penetrate, drive to the left, up to the cup, knock down threes. His three-point shooting obviously is much better than it's ever been. He can do it but people want to say, nah, I'm like, no. He can do it anytime he feels like it. And that's the same thing with Kyrie. That's the way I look at it. So if you got Luka,
here's the slight distinction, I would say. And I think there was at a time where you could say that about LeBron. But LeBron needs a lot of time to score now. He needs a full shot clock to get to where he wants to go to get a shot. Yes, he can knock down threes, but he's not going to live and die by just shooting threes. Like,
no.
The reason you lay off of him is because he can attack the paint, because he's going to back you down. That's why, percentage-wise, he shoots a decent percentage. That just takes 16, 17, 18 seconds off the clock. So you have to put the ball in his hands and let him go to work. Kyrie's not like that. Kyrie's going to he can you can give it to him with 7 seconds left on the shot clock and he'll go get you something. And that to me is the difference. Like, you give the ball to Luka and you let Luka do what he does and you say, Luka, you've got the first 15 seconds. Go do what you do, and if you don't get it and you can set somebody else up, great. But if you don't get it, we're kicking it to Kyrie. Kyrie, you go get yours. I don't think you can do that with LeBron and Luka. And then, as I said, the whole other thing is the infrastructure of all the defenders that the Dallas Cowboys and rim protectors put around those two in order to allow them to do what they do. You simply don't have those.
But we're not done yet. The trade deadline is Thursday. As Rob Pelinka said in his press conference,
here's the thing.
We're not
done.
Who
are you going to trade? Who are you going to trade to go get that big?
I don't know. We got something in our back pocket.
Okay.
So who do you guys think won the trade?
I know what you got. You know what you got in your back pocket right now. You got lint. That's what you got right now in your back pocket. You've already pulled the wallet and dropped all the dimes.
Now, so after all that, who do you guys think won the trade overall then? The Lakers or the Mavericks?
I would say the Lakers because of the future. That's the only thing is the future. Unless Dallas could collect the trophy in the next couple years, it's the Lakers because of the future.
It's just crazy.
Honestly, I don't think we can answer this question right now.
Okay.
Because it is if Dallas wins a championship in the next year or two, then I would say that they won the trade. If they don't, and Luka is inspired or becomes the icon for the Lakers for the next 10 years, then the Lakers won the trade. But it really comes down to this. The only way, in my mind, that Dallas wins the trade is if they win a ring in the next 2 years.
Well, they just got to the finals and they said they want to win now. And I don't know. I feel like that's just going back on what you're saying because they were just in the finals last year. So what can they possibly do to win now? Well, I mean, win the finals.
I kind of like what their makeup is right now, Rick. I like the fact that you got Lively at the 5 and you can move AD back to the 4 and there's Clay and then you got Kyrie, as you mentioned, could do a lot of different things and J Kidd is there. Yep. I kind of like it. I mean, because when you think about when we won in 2020, JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard played the 5 majority of the time. And Anthony Davis was in a comfort zone and felt good being the 4, something that he seems to always want to be. And he gets that opportunity now in Dallas.
Yeah. Well, what I like is they can present a challenge to everybody in the Eastern Conference that now the best teams in the Eastern Conference have to match up against them. Right? Yeah. With AD and with PJ Washington and with Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, like they've got size and rim protection and they've got young athletic bigs for the most part. And I'd still put AD even at 31 in that category. I mean, to me, he's the best offensive rebounding big man in the league and is playing defense at a defensive player of the year rate. So now you look at Boston and they're suddenly like, oh, wait, like who's Al Horford going to guard? Like the matchups suddenly flip in Dallas's favor where they were at a disadvantage before. Or you look at the West, like, okay, so AD hasn't had a whole lot of success when he has to play center against Nikola Jokic. Well, now he doesn't. now it's AD against Aaron Gordon. Okay, I like that a little bit better. And now PJ Washington gets to play against Michael Porter Jr. He can beat him up. Oklahoma City, depending on when they get Chet Holmgren back, doesn't have enough size to match up, and they were losing to the Dallas Mavericks this year as is without AD there.
Right.
Minnesota has been their one challenge where I think they lost by 1 without Luka to Minnesota. But now you put Anthony Davis in the mix. Like, I really like what they have. I think that they present problems now. Before, the problem that they presented was Luka, number one. And so you were counting on Luka being healthy and being on. And he was that until he got to the finals. And then it all came apart. And I think that he shot so poorly, that he lost his composure, that they picked on him relentlessly on defense. Like, all of that, I think, really informed kind of this decision, especially when Luka came back. And you would think that after having that happen, you carry this team to the finals.
Right.
And then you kind of have to look at yourself in the mirror and go, man, if I had been in better shape, if I could defend better. And I think it's kind of one and the same. The reason that he doesn't defend well is he can't expend the energy at both ends.
Right.
And I lost my composure with the referees, and that cost us. That cost me a ring. I would hope that he would come back in shape, motivated, like when the San Antonio Spurs lost to the Miami Heat on the double clutch Ray Allen shot. Like, they came back. They're like, we got to fight our way all the way back there, and we're not letting go this time. We're not letting that happen this time. But they were motivated from day one. And Luka came back, and he was not in shape, and he wasn't playing defense.
We'll get Luka on a juice diet in LA. Maybe get him vegan for a year. He'll be all right.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Junior, is that, like, two things can be true. Like, he may be motivated like never before now to say, oh, so you guys didn't think I could do it. Let me show you. And knowing the Luka Dončić and the way I've seen him go after guys when he's doubted, like, I think that's in him. I do. But I don't know if we would have ever seen that Luka Dončić if he had stayed in Dallas and they paid him the $345 million, that it would have been like, he wouldn't have had that same last
I know
punch of motivation.
So how many teams do you think would have given up a player like Anthony Davis for a Luka Dončić?
Whew. It's such, well, you know what? But the problem with the question is that it's in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
Like, I don't, remind me what and Junior, remind me what your view of Anthony Davis is. When you think of Anthony Davis, like, I'm reading online, people are like, oh, that bird-boned, hollow-boned, always injured, street clothes.
He is
like,
injured a lot, but he's
dude who can't, like, whatever, like, right? Like, 31-year-old,
at the end of the
breaking
day,
down, soft,
I know,
like, second banana, like, and I'm thinking, there was a time where I looked at him that way, but not for the last year and a half.
Yeah,
last year and a half, he's been the best player on the Lakers. Last year and a half, he played 76 games, regular season games last year, career high, and then played 5 playoff games. He missed 3 of their first 45 games this year. Like, and you see him, times where he's like, he falls down or something, he tweaks something. And in the past, it would be, oh, we're not going to see him for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he look, there's a bit of that's out there about him. I've always looked at him as the guy who could potentially take over for LeBron if LeBron was a step aside. When he hasn't played with LeBron on the floor, he's been amazing. It's hard to play with LeBron just in general. It's just a hard play. It's just a hard play.
Did Keyshawn just say it's hard to play with LeBron? You know who else they say? You know who else they say that about?
Who?
Luka Dončić.
Well,
So
I mean,
you've now put together two guys that are hard to play with. And
Yeah,
everybody's saying, maybe you're one of them. I don't know about you, Junior, is saying, oh no, LeBron and Luka can figure it out. They can
I
play
think
together.
I think they
they'll
can figure it out. I think LeBron is smart enough, if he's here past Friday or Thursday, better yet, that he can. I'm sure he will be, but I'm just saying that he could figure out how to basically not necessarily take a backseat, but allow Luka to kind of do a little bit more than him. That's what I think. I think he's at that place in his career where that could possibly be the case, because what Rob Pelinka said at his press conference basically was, this is Luka's team now. That's essentially what he said. Yeah. And so if LeBron is smart enough, which I think he is, to realize that he ain't trying to get in a tug of war just because that message was sent clearly that this is about Luka and our future. And if you want to be here with us and make it right, then we're willing to accept that. But here's some things got to change. We're taking control back of our organization.
How good can he, and maybe it's not even those two, because here's the reality. Both of those guys are going to get their numbers. They're going to get their numbers. They're just too talented not to get their numbers, right? The question is going to be, can Austin Reeves get numbers now? Can Jackson Hayes, can Rui Hachimura, like, can other guys get their numbers with those two guys being ball dominant? And I know they're both great playmakers, but again, like LeBron, Luka needs a lot of time to get to his spots. And that puts everybody else in the position of, the ball's going to be a hot potato if and when it comes to me. I'm not going to have a whole lot of time. The ball's not like skipping all over the place and I'm involved and I'm feeling good and I'm cutting and all that. It's mostly like we're going to stand around and we're going to watch LeBron and Luka do their thing, and we got to be ready in case they need me or they need us. And I don't know how efficient that's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Can you remember any other blockbuster trades in professional sports in your memory? The Wayne Gretzky, the Randy Moss, the Keyshawn Johnson trades?
Oh, you mean just in any sport?
Yeah, where a team has decided.
Just the NBA.
Yeah, any sport where a team has decided, even though he's our guy and he's young and he's the future, we're going to move him.
I think Kevin Durant's was the craziest, in my opinion.
But KD wasn't traded. KD signed as a free agent.
Yeah.
KD just left for the
He just
Warriors.
left.
That's true.
He just left.
And then he left for Brooklyn. You can't put James Harden in that category because he wasn't all that when he was traded to the Houston Rockets. I might say Chris Webber, who was the rookie of the year, coming off rookie of the year, and was the #1 pick and was traded to the Washington Wizards for Tom Gugliotta and a number of picks. And Don Nelson said to one of his assistant coaches, like right after Tom Gugliotta showed up and they had one of their first practices, and one of his assistant coaches told me this later. He said Nelly looked over at him and goes, "We're going to get fired for making this trade."
This is one of the worst decisions of my life, huh?
No, it happens.
And then I would say Chris Webber, again, at age 25, traded to the Sacramento Kings for Mitch Richmond. And then the Kings, with him and Vlade Divac and Mike Bibby and that whole crew, like, they ended up being a force for a number of years. But, you know, even Webb, for as good as he was and as special as he was, I don't, like, he wasn't single-handedly carrying teams, you know, to the conference finals and being the leader of teams going to the finals. So look, I thought it was fake news when I first saw it.
Me too.
I read it and
Thought someone got hacked.
and then I thought Shams got hacked.
Yeah.
There's no way I haven't heard a whisper of this. There's no way. And then I got a text from somebody else. They're like, hey, is this for real? And so I texted somebody who I know would know, and they said, yeah. And I was like, wow. I was changing planes in LA. I was coming back from the East Coast. And that's when I saw it. I was like, this is nuts.
So, Rick, do you think so you got guys, you got this big money with Luka, you got big money coming up with Kyrie. Do you think either one of those guys don't sign? Kyrie in Dallas, Luka in LA?
That either one of them leaves?
Yeah.
I feel like Dallas has kind of hitched their wagon to Kyrie, and that Kyrie recognizes we just moved Luka Dončić and made this your team. I mean, that's what they've done. And that's something that Kyrie has always wanted. And I think that he's actually matured to a place where he can handle it now. I don't think he was ready for that in Boston. Wasn't ready for it in Brooklyn. I think he's ready for it now. So I would expect that he's going to stay. And but besides, we just traded away Luka Dončić to make this your team, and we went and got the guy that LeBron James won a championship with once.
Yeah, imagine he's like,
Kyrie has always wanted to put himself on LeBron's level. I mean, if I'm Luka, I'm not there just because it's LA and because it's the Lakers. Like, I got to go prove to Dallas, you screwed up. I got to win a championship.
Yeah.
And can LA put a team around him that's capable of winning a championship? I'm not saying that they can't, but that's what they're going to have to do. And if they don't do that in short order, then I think that Luka's going to look around and say, is there someplace else that I have a better opportunity?
When have we ever in the history of the Los Angeles Lakers had a superstar player at this level and didn't build a championship around him? When?
Well, we were on the precipice of one very near and dear to all of our hearts, going to Chicago, because they spent quite a few years unable to do that. And that was one late Kobe Bryant, who was ready to go to Chicago. Or unless they rehired Jerry West, because he wanted someone he knew could be an architect for a championship team. And ultimately they went and they made a deal for Pau Gasol, and they ended up putting a championship team together. So
again, I must say, Rick, when have we ever not figured it out?
They did it, but they walked right up to the ledge.
Hey, we always walk right up to the ledge.
They went a few years.
Think about it. We acquired LeBron James and walked right up to the edge and didn't get Anthony Davis until the following year, but we got it done and we went and won a championship. That's all. So I think in time they're going to build around Luka the right way. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you on that, but I'm just going to say the one thing I will say is I think they have a shorter timeline for doing that, right? And you're going to laugh at this, and I'm not even sure I believe it. So I'm going to throw it out there, but don't hang it on me, okay? Don't present, because I know how you work, Key. I know you're a little bit of an instigator sometimes with stuff that I say. This is not me saying it, okay? But it was said to me by a GM in the league, and I found it startling. And he said, Steve Ballmer and the Intuit Dome is a game changer in LA. Like, guys love what Ballmer is putting together, and the fact that arena is what it is, that they have their own arena. Like, it's still a Lakers town, right? But the feeling is like Ballmer is finally putting something together that may challenge for the reign in LA. I am not saying that.
Yeah.
I am just telling you that there are people in the league for the first time ever. This is like, trust me, anytime you talk to anybody in the league, they're like, look, it's the Lakers. It's LA. I don't care how much money Ballmer has. it's the Lakers and the Clippers.
Yeah.
That's the feeling was.
Is he done talking about the Clippers yet?
The feeling was this will never change. And this, for the first time, I was hearing somebody say, you know what? Somebody in the league. This is from the choir that has always sung the Lakers tune.
Yeah, I understand.
This is someone in the choir going, keep an eye on Ballmer now that the
Clippers made
what it is.
Rick. The Clippers made a decision to pay Kawhi Leonard, and although Paul George is not having a great season in Philadelphia, they allowed the dude to walk and pay Kawhi. The Clippers are still the Clippers. They're the Clippers.
Going back to the drawing board.
The Clippers.
They actually, to be honest with you, the Clippers are trying to take another stab at what they did with Kawhi and Paul George in terms of we're going to create cap space. We're going to use the Intuit Dome. We're going to take another run at this. And they were actually hoping that Luka would be potentially on the open market in order to one of several, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Dončić. There's a number of free agents coming up that the Clippers wanted to take a run at, and this takes one of those potentially off of the table. But I'm just don't kill the messenger.
No, I'm not killing the messenger.
Even you, Junior, you keep looking at me, Junior, like I've grown horns out of my head.
No, you actually have frogs crawling all over you.
That's what someone in the league said.
I get it.
For the first time.
I was just thinking about living in LA.
Someone in the league. He knows a lot about.
Was there ever a time where the Clippers were cooler than the Lakers? But there was.
No, never.
When the
Lob
Lakers
City,
had
gave
Jordan Farmar,
Lob City, and they couldn't do it.
With Blake Griffin and Chris Paul and
really good. A slam dunk here and there.
Lob City. No, you know what? Even then,
nothing.
Yeah,
they were the more successful team, but they weren't the more popular team.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Rick, I haven't been to a Clipper game since they played at the sports arena.
Well, you know what?
You're missing out. The dome's lit. Yeah.
You need to go to the Intuit Dome, and you need to take Junior with you.
I've been. I've been.
Yeah. And what do you think?
I liked it.
It's a great stadium.
I was at the
nice
wall.
Stadium, loud. I know they got the tower where all the fans at, and Bomber sits on the court side and does the. That's good. Makes all the sense in the world.
To you, bro. You're Western Forum. You're Inglewood. You're the old great Western Forum.
Wake me up when their dream is over. What are they bringing Michael Cage back to? That's what you're gonna tell me next.
No. Yeah, the old Dominique. No, I'm just telling you. They want Junior. Junior's who they want in the stands. They want him in the wall.
That really
need me in the wall.
That really makes a lot of sense. Get Junior, who can really spend the money to pay for those expensive tickets.
He's going to have a great Western Forum dad buy the tickets.
Hey,
Junior's
Rick,
just going to be showing up.
There you go. Rick, thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us on the show, bud. And it means a lot to me and Junior. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks again to Rick. We also had a chance to speak to Bears cornerback Jaylon Johnson again. Here's that interview.
What's up, Jay?
What's up with it, family? How you living?
Welcome back.
Man, I'm good. I'm just getting tuned in, ready for the Super Bowl. Thought maybe y'all had a shot earlier in the year being in New Orleans, but we all know how that went away real fast.
Watch out, man.
No, I'm saying I thought y'all was gonna be in the running for some things earlier in the year. You know, I figured good defense coming back, nice second half of the season. You got a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball that y'all acquired, whether it was Keenan Allen or Swift. They paid DJ Moore, so I'm like, okay, y'all got Caleb. They're going to be all right. But then
that Hail Mary, I feel
like. And then it just all.
Ever since then, messed everything up.
What was that? What was that like? Like, because I've never been a part of anything like that. So I just want to know what was that like getting bombed like 67. No
I
disrespect.
think for me, honestly, it was tough because it was like almost like surreal. Like you almost like didn't feel like the game was over. And kind of just replaying it in my head, just like, bro, what happened? Where did he come from? Whose dude was that? You kind of just start thinking about it all. And of course, in the moment, like we didn't know what happened. And like in a situation, you're not really putting together the situational ball as far as us having a timeout, could have called the timeout, could
Right.
us challenging him, rushing, whatever it may be. I mean, it's easier to look at it in hindsight, but when everything was going on, it's like, bro, there's no way we just lost the game. Because, two, from us, it was just like, hey, offense, go in here, score. We just seal the game, go home, everybody happy. We win. We 5-2. We lit. So when that happened, it was just like, bro, what? How we go from about to be 5-2 to 4-3, and then everything really just went downhill after that.
So you got the new head coach and Ben Johnson in the building now. You had an opportunity to play against him twice a year in that offense.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good thing, the system that he's bringing over from Detroit?
Yeah, for sure. I think too, but I mean, it's hard because they have some dollars over there too. I think, especially their run game with Jahmyr Gibbs, with Demo. I mean, I'm real familiar with Demo's game, and then of course Jahmyr's been taking off since he came in the league. So I think just having that two-headed monster like that is tough, and then the strong O-line. And then I think from there, he just really orchestrates the game really well. I think he manages the game really well, and then he matches his personnel with his creativity, and they find ways to put up a lot of points. But I think it starts really with their run game, and then their pass explosives come off of that. But I think I think he'll adjust really well with our personnel. I feel like we have really good skill guys. We have some pieces up front, and I think we plan on adding some more and things like that, beefing up the front. And I feel like from there, it should be another explosive offense that he runs.
You know what? I seen somewhere that you said that you expect the Bears or you guys to win at least 10 games this year. You still stand by that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think for me, the expectation is to win more than you lose. So I think for us, we can win. I mean, we haven't won over 7 games since I don't know how long. So I think for me, just at least get to a 10-win mark, at least being able to check that off just to show some improvement. I don't think it's remotely just the expectation just coming here and just be just this all-time great team. But I feel like at the end of the day, we got to take steps in the right way. I know it's hard to win in this league, and I think you got to learn how to win. You got to be prepared the right way. And I feel like we're getting and have all the right pieces in place and putting the right plan in place. And I think it's just up to everybody in the building to take the right steps to be able to improve. And in due time, there's no reason why we can't be a contending team.
So you guys hired Dennis Allen, former New Orleans Saints head coach, as your defensive coordinator. He had some decent defenses, whether it was at the Denver Broncos, the Raiders, and the New Orleans Saints. Do you like the scheme that you're going to be in now, or have you had a chance to really pay attention to the scheme?
Yeah, I don't know too much about it, honestly speaking. If you can give me some information, I can tell you more. I know for me personally, hopefully it's a system where I can travel. I can go against the best guys. I can play into the boundary. I can be able to challenge and really earn my check and make another one coming up in a few years. So I mean, I'm just looking forward to that, really letting me off the leash in that way. And then just really letting all the guys off the leash. I know we have a lot of dogs on our defense, and I think if we get put in the right places and allow us to be comfortable and play fast, I think we can be a really good defense.
Man, you really think you want to travel?
Next question. Come on, man. Stop playing.
I love it. Jaylen, what were your thoughts on Caleb Williams' rookie season?
I think he was solid. It's crazy because I've been talking to a lot of people, of course, getting the question, but I think he surprised me mentally as far as his maturity, and I would say more so mental toughness. I think coming in, if I'm not mistaken, he was if not the top sack quarterback, he was definitely top 3.
Yeah.
And just for him being able to continue to battle, I think there was never, I know there was never any quit in him in the season. He continued to improve, I would say, as the season went on, throughout the ups and downs, the firings, the hirings, the filling in, guys going down, whatever it was. I feel like he was always the same. I feel like he came into every game with a chip on his shoulder, wanting to prove himself, wanting to try to improve from the week before. So I definitely take my hat off for him in that respect, because it wasn't an easy season. It was tough mentally, emotionally, physically, of course, him taking all those hits. But I think he continued to battle. And, I mean, the physical talent is definitely there. I think once he gets allowed to get comfortable, have some stability, I think there's nothing he can't do.
I know, Jaylen, you think very high of yourself as a defensive player, as you should.
No
Because
doubt.
in my eyes, you are one of the top defensive backs in the National Football League, although sometimes the notoriety doesn't come because of lack of success as a team. Do you feel like you were snubbed at all this year from making All-Pro And is it gonna light a fire under you when you learn that defensive scheme from Dennis Allen?
There's always a fire, first and foremost. I mean, it's always something to prove. Each year is a new year. And I definitely loved having that all-pro title that I got last year. But I wouldn't say that I was snubbed. I think from the guys that were in it, I feel like I guess those guys being in it myself. So I don't think I would say that I didn't have an all-pro year. I just feel like other guys had a better year, especially statistically with getting more interceptions and things like that. I know it's hard for me being, for one, in the NFC, they don't really throw the ball too much. It's all run, and then even that in itself, I get 1 or 2 targets a game. So I mean, it's hard to get a lot of ball production, but I feel like for myself, I got to continue to find ways to get the ball. And I mean, sometimes other guys just find their way to the ball. So I don't think I was snubbed, but I'll definitely be back in that column real soon.
Man, I can't believe he sat there and said 1 or 2 balls thrown my way. Man, please, man. I'm
Why?
so glad. I'm so glad I ain't played 1 or 2 balls. I wish they would. 1 or 2 balls.
Why you glad?
Well, he was a Pro Bowler. How was the Pro Bowl this year? Because I didn't really watch it. It's getting kind of, soft in my opinion. But how
soft?
was it?
They don't even tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool for me.
Yeah, it's fun for
we
you.
We don't do too much. We have fun, play some games or something here and there. But I mean, for the most part, I think it's straight. The flag football game, I mean, of course, it's like the all-star game. I mean, you go in, nobody's really participating hard and doing too much until the end. But I think this year we was ahead by so much, nobody really had to turn that switch on. But like last year, I know it came down to the wire and guys were really playing and trying to win. But I think for the most part, to me, as a player, I think it's all that it needs to be. Just come in here, enjoy your time, get celebrated, play a little game, interact with the fans. And really that's about it. Because I mean, ours is not like to me, it don't need to be football. I feel like, or tackle football. I know I'm not going up there tackling whoever that AFC running back is and doing all that. I'm not doing all that after the season, after I just got beat up for 17, 18 weeks.
When we played, we was in the Pro Bowl. Obviously, it was in Hawaii. It was after the season. So
where was the Pro Bowl at?
In Hawaii.
No, I'm saying
Orlando. Okay. Orlando. Ours was always in Hawaii. So we would go to the Super Bowl. If you were in the game, you played in the game, you came over after the game, after your ticker tape parade. So you might have only had a walkthrough for 2 days, right? But guys that didn't play in it would go over Sunday morning, get on the flight, go to Hawaii, land in Hawaii right before the Super Bowl and watch the Super Bowl in Hawaii and then enjoy it. That's why I think they should have always kept it in Hawaii. And in the fourth quarter, that's when the heat turned up. First 3 quarters was kind of like bullshit. The fourth quarter was about the money because you spent all this money to get your entire family over to Hawaii. So you trying to recoup some of that money. You trying to make some of it back.
Did you ever any like incentives or anything or not?
Yeah, I was the Pro Bowl MVP. I got a car.
Okay.
And I got money and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, their contracts now are.
But the Pro Bowl MVP was a real MVP. It wasn't like this shit they play in. Like the fourth quarter, it was get down to the get down. Like dudes was fighting each other. Oh, it was crazy. It was pretty wild. So Myles Garrett asked for a trade. You know, Myles Garrett, Cleveland Browns defensive end, asked for a trade. He won't out. He say he won't out. Would you welcome him in open arms in Chicago? Would you love to have him as your pass rush?
I'll let him stay in the room downstairs if you need one until he get on his feet, whatever he need. And I feel like he's that caliber guy. At the end of the day, everybody knows his resume, what he can do, what he has done. And I mean, I know if he's unhappy there, hopefully he can come to Chicago and we can get a good spot for him, get him comfortable, and then we can take over this league with a heck of a defense. And then, of course, with Ben, Caleb, DJ, all those guys getting the offense together, I feel like we can definitely make a push for something.
Super Bowl weekend, who you got?
Oh, that's tough. If I had to put money, I'm going KC. I would love to see Saquon win, but I wouldn't bet money against that boy over there in KC.
Speaking of Saquon actually said that he was close to signing with the Bears instead of the Eagles. I don't want to say would life be different because I don't want to make it seem like Swifty is not a nice piece.
Yeah.
But what you think Saquon could have done to lift some of the pressure off of y'all offense based on what he's doing in Philly?
It's hard to say, honestly speaking, because I feel like that front that Philly got is different. And I feel like it's he's always been Saquon, but he looked like a different Saquon in New York when the front wasn't that good and things weren't functioning well in New York. So I mean, I feel like it's easy to say if he came over here, we'd have just been super nice. But I feel like realistically speaking, I feel like being at the Eagles, being in that position, having the front that they got and what they're known for and running that ball and the O-line. I mean, I never knew so many O-line, but I know Lane Johnson and all those guys over there because of their stability, their consistency, and how long they've been playing the game, playing at a high level. So I can't say that, but I definitely know that Swift can tote. But I mean, it's only so much you can do when things aren't functioning right as a whole on offense. I mean, he would have came over here and made some plays, but I mean, the whole system got to work together.
Yeah.
That makes
So, Jaylen, we do a segment here called Strong Connections, presented by Oikos. Stronger makes everything better. In your opinion, what is it about the connection between Mahomes and his plethora of different receivers that makes him so great and difficult to defend?
I think the connection is him and Andy Reid. I think that's
Right.
the biggest, best connection. Because, I mean, I feel like the receivers, they've had plenty of receivers come in and out of their building. I would say they've had young receivers, veteran wide receivers. Of course, Kelsey's been there for a long time. But I think it's really just the system, everybody being on the same page, everybody knowing what to expect. And then also, too, the off-the-script plays. I think being able to find themselves in certain zones, being able to make the adjustments in man and do certain things like that. But I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like Mahomes is very unpredictable in a lot of things that he does. And at the end of the day, he's just a generational talent. So I mean, I think the true connection is Andy Reid being a heck of a coach and putting him in certain positions, putting the offense. But I mean, for the most part, it's easy to be a wide receiver in that system. I feel like you just be where you're supposed to be and catch the ball. I feel like you don't got to make too many plays because he's gonna put you in a position to do it.
All right, last question, Jaylen. Are you looking forward to the halftime show for Kendrick Lamar? And what's your favorite song for him?
Man, he a Drake fan.
I'm a
he
Drake fan.
down
I
with
like
Drake.
both. I like music. We like music, man.
No, he down. Jaylen down with Drake.
I mean, it's tough because I'm honestly not a big Kendrick fan. I know his song's been slapping for sure, but I mean, I'm honestly just looking to see who he bring out. I think that'll be the fun part. The song's gonna bust, and then I feel like just the environment, the performance, who he brings out, and the atmosphere and all that. I feel like that'll probably be the best thing. And I mean, hopefully they don't do too much remixing. I hate when they get there and they doing so much remixing and the song don't sound like the original song. So I hope they just kind of let them perform it the right way.
Yeah,
Dad, you looking forward to it?
Fan, 100.
Are you looking forward to it?
I mean, it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Who you think he gonna bring out?
Man, ain't no telling. I don't even know. To
Baby
be honest with
Keem.
you. I mean, I would think he gonna connect with a lot of
Definitely
the
LA
people out here, West Coast dudes. That's what I think. But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he might slide Lil Wayne out.
Be cool if
Just
Tommy the
because of the
Clown
respect. He might even bring out some of the whole No Limit, that whole little Louisiana stuff. I wouldn't be shocked if he did that.
Yeah.
Because he gonna respect the game. He respecting the territory, the region, and the game. That's what I believe. Where a lot of dudes don't respect the region and the game. They get caught up in stuff. You see what Drake got to go through right now. He got caught up. Got caught up in the wrong thing, man.
He ain't been the same since.
Yeah, he's still the same. He just got caught up. It's like you now put yourself in a position when people ain't really out west. They looking at you different than they were 7 years ago. That's all I'm saying. Can't get caught up in it, man. But look, enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy the halftime show. We certainly enjoyed having you on again.
Thank you for coming again.
And I appreciate it and look forward to watching that one ball thrown your way in 2025.
Nah, we got some heat on our schedule, so I know they're gonna put the ball in the air.
Yeah. All right.
No doubt. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Thanks again to my guy, Jaylen. But before we go, Dad, we had a fun question for you. What's your Mount Rushmore of wide receivers? Give us your top 4.
Oh, God. Jerry Rice, Randy Moss.
Don't name yourself, by the way.
No, I don't get caught up in that. Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Michael Irvin, and
Calvin John.
Either Calvin Johnson or Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison, I would say. Marvin Harrison doesn't get a lot of respect, though. I don't know why. Dude set records, won Super Bowl. I don't get it.
he had like the best quarterback ever, but
You,
maybe that's
everybody
why.
I
I'm
just
saying
named
maybe
had
that's
the
why.
best freaking quarterbacks.
Who you said? Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice had Joe Montana and Steve Young.
Yeah, Michael
Rich
Irvin.
Gannon.
Yeah,
Michael Irvin had Troy Aikman.
yeah.
Randy Moss had Tom Brady. Dante Culpepper when he was good. Randall Cunningham.
I guess Randy Moss didn't really have like.
You gonna have good quarterbacks. That's
Yeah.
part of the whole damn thing. That's just part of it.
Yeah, there's.
I mean, somebody gonna get left off and somebody gonna be mad. Calvin Johnson is great, Hall of Famer. There's no question about it. Once in a lifetime generational player. But it's a common theme. Everybody I just named, they all won championships.
Yeah, that's fair too.
So, But anyway, that's a wrap for today's show. Again, thanks to Rick and Jaylen Johnson for joining. Be sure to follow All Facts Pod on social media or wherever you subscribe on YouTube. Until next time, Super Bowl, baby. Peace.